Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another episode of the Profit Paddock into Dominion Finals night tomorrow night at Albion Park. Wow, what a stacked card, awesome racing, and it's just incredible really to see all of these awesome horses doing battle on what has got to be one of the best nights of harness racing I've seen in a while. Leap to Fame drawing pole, RC Phoenix drawing pole. A lot of good horses have drawn pole. Could be a recipe for multis, could be a recipe for disaster. But I'm going to go through race by race the whole card so you can get your fix tonight. And we will have a special guest joining us later on for some insight into the Australian harness racing world. And he might be giving us a few tips. Now, obviously, behind me to my left, your right, a nice fireplace. It is really cold here in Christchurch. I'm sure I would have loved to have been over in Albion Park tomorrow night, but nevertheless, we are in Christchurch in the cold. But we'll be watching in awe on the couch and hoping to try and make a dollar or two for this unbelievable stacked racing card at Albion Park. Now, I'm going to introduce the next guest on the show, Brendan Micallef, the CEO of Bathurst Harness Racing Club. Also runs BPM Bloodstock. He's got a little bit of knowledge up top with the punt, and let's see if we can pick his brains and get some insight. Pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's great to be here.
Oh, mate, do we have some harness racing tomorrow night or not?
It is an absolute feast for harness racing lovers tomorrow night. Obviously, the big in a Dominion final, but I mean, who doesn't love Larry? He's done so much for the sport, and hopefully he'll make it his second in a Dominion.
I know. And are you thinking this barrier one draw for Larry is a blessing or a curse?
Look, he probably. I think it's obvious to anyone in harness racing that probably barrier one was the one that he didn't want. Even barrier 8 would have been nicer because he could have just float back and take his time. But there's a couple of speed horses on the front line, and it's going to make it very interesting at the start because speak the truth. Pete said so. I know Don Hugo got crossed, but I think an outside draw probably helps him a little more. And we've seen Catch a Wave absolutely fly the gate as well. It led to win a Miracle Mile a few years ago. So it'll be interesting to just, Grant Dixon's a magician, so I'm sure he'll find a way to get off the pegs. And if he can't hold, that is. And I'm sure Larry will have no worries getting the job done.
It's certainly a mouth-watering contest. We'll get to that later on in the show. But we'll start off with race one, which is the Australasia's Junior Drivers Championship, the last heat. Have you been following the series at all?
Yes, it has. I have been. We've had young Jet Turnbull from Bathurst representing New South Wales. So watching him and James Herbertson do battle has been very interesting. I think Herbie's still in front, if I'm correct, heading into the last round. But the last round can throw up anything. Herbie's on a roughie, and so is young Jet. So it's been an interesting series. We actually see Geordie, who raced in the series on Tuesday. I think it must have been one of the fastest lead times on record in Tuesday, a 34-1. I don't think I've seen quicker.
I've never seen that. And the fact it was 34-1, they almost went 33.
I know. You just don't do that. You don't do that at Albion. But anyway, look, Geordie was a part of that speed burn. And he's backing up on Saturday night, and he's $2.30 favourite. Look, if he's taken no harm from that run, you think he'd be pretty hard to toss. But Skylord is one that, Carter Delgatti is he's achieved a lot in his young career. And a couple of pull barriers for his couple of starts up in Queensland, barrier 6 and barrier 7. I think tomorrow, if he gets the right run in transit, he's the obvious danger. I mean, he's only 380, so you're not getting massive value, but it just depends how Geordie's come through that run. So he's been well backed and he's deserved favourite at 230, but I think it's definitely between those two.
I know personally in New Zealand when he was trained with the McDermotts, probably a couple of years ago now, he was a classic horse that was just super lazy, didn't put in, didn't try. But Pizzuto seems to be getting the best out of him, and he is a tough bugger. And yeah, as you say, if he's come through that run sound, then he should be able to put up another good fight, and especially from barrier one, he could be hard to beat. However, it is a no bet. It is a no bet race for me. I'm happy to just watch these young juniors do battle and not have anything to do with that race. So leave me out.
Look, I think if someone wants to play something small and have a bit of an interest in the race, the obvious is I do think Geordie leads, right? He showed he's got good skate speed there on Tuesday. I think the obvious is maybe number 8, Kuzma. It's 10s and 2:30, and he's obviously going to get a lovely run in transit. Whether it's up to these or not, I mean, that's yet to be seen. It did win at 50 to 1 3 starts ago and beat some nice horses. So, look, for me, a very, very small play, maybe each way on Kuzma, just at the value, but nothing with confidence.
All right, thanks for that. We move on to one of the interesting races of the night, a Group 3, and it's over the distant trip. So we've got Major Hot off the inside, Jason Grimson and Cam Hart. There's been a wee bit of specking in the market for that thing, and it seems to be a horse that sort of keeps whacking away. We've also got a bit of money for Glitter Ain't Gold, one of your Bathurst horses there, Brendan. It's been going well, and down at the bottom of the book there, the Janitor off the back rows got to be in it for another a good chance at $2.40. So it's a very exciting race to basically kick off the night after these juniors do battle.
It is. I mean, the Janitor has just been absolutely super in his 2 defeats, his last 2 starts. Second in the Rising Sun and then second last week. He's been doing all the donkey work. Unfortunately, the poor horse has not been blessed at all with barriers, and once again, probably barrier 9's the best draw he's had. Probably deserve it even money favourite, but I think as we discussed off air, we're both keen to take him on tomorrow. We both are in the Major Hot camp tomorrow. I think barrier 1, his run in the Rising Sun was just mouth-watering, flying home, and again the last week. So I think barrier 1 over the 2100 is going to give him every opportunity.
Mouth watering. I tell you what, his run was actually, I mean, a Glitter Ain't Gold, fair play to it. It got past Major Hot, but if you do watch the sort of the run, it was maybe held up a touch Major Hot at the wrong time. Didn't quite get the momentum, bit of a momentum horse. And if you go back and actually really dissect this race, you look at the start, that top-down drone shot's crucial. You can see Major Hot from the middle of the line last start absolutely fly the arm. It's just the fact that all those horses came out from underneath him. And now he's got barrier 1 on tomorrow night. And look, I think he just leads for fun. Cam Hart, Jason Grimson on one of the biggest nights of the year in harness racing. I mean, there's a lot going positively if you're taking the odds on there. And the fact I want to raise is if you get really deep into this, Brendan, if you get really deep, I like to get deep on the form. You go to the steward's vision. You go to the steward's vision of last week's run of Major Hot, and you watch Cam Hart. You try and watch him pull the horse up. It's about 20, 30 meters clear of any other horse and doing its best work through the line. You got to look at these things.
You do. You don't miss anything here, Edgar. And look, I agree. He's a horse, especially that 21:38 start at Albion. Correct me if I'm wrong, but much easier to lead from barrier 1 over that trip than it is over the mile trip. So
for sure.
I think he'll definitely do enough to get his feet under anything that tries to get out. And like you said, Glitter Ain't Gold went past him, but over the distance, barrier 1 and Albion. It's a recipe for success, and I think at $5 and $1.80, and that $1.80 a place is just magic. For serious punters, you want to have a serious crack each way. Most money back running top 3.
Is that what you're getting in Aussie? Oh, we need to have a bloody word. This ban is awful, isn't it? We're getting $1.65. We're getting $1.65 in New Zealand.
No, $5 and $1.80 on Aussie tab.
Oh,
so
absolute rort, isn't it?
It is a lovely each way odds right there.
All right, so me and Brendan absolutely keen with Major Hot to try and kick off the night well. We move to the next race over the 2,680 metres, one of the consolations, I believe. And what do you make of this one? We've got Beach Ball off the inside, Luke McCarthy. That Jim RT goes good on its day, but it probably hasn't been at its best. Better Eclipse is a war horse. And obviously on the back row there, Nyak's probably unlucky to get into the final. for James Rattray, and Whisper of Secrets in there too. So it's a very open looking race, especially over that trip.
Yeah, I love that. I love they're over 2680 because it really it brings the drivers into the race. The best drive is like it's a very open race, like you said, and the best drive will definitely win the race. I mean, obviously Barry once the beach ball is obviously a massive advantage. Has had what 4 starts in Australia now. Probably maybe underperformed, maybe a touch on
Yeah,
what
I
I
agree.
thought it could do over here.
Yep.
Yeah, had some real red hot New Zealand form, and I thought it would have gone to free for all level here. Probably hasn't quite reached those heights. I mean, better eclipse, 4th in both its heats. You know, who doesn't like? It's such an honest horse. You can never leave it out. I think the interesting thing here is Tango Tara absolutely flies the gate, and it could bury Beach Ball. So where we usually like number 1 at the creek, I'm probably leaning more towards going with one of the backliners, Whisper a Secret or Nyack. Nyack, huge last start. How you can run second, obviously, not much luck in the first up heat, but how you can run second in the Dominion final, it's obviously pretty hard done by. But yeah, it is for a secret. I think of the two, when last start Whisper Secret took on Sure Thing Captain, who dominated from the front, and it's drawn barrier, what's that, 10 or 11 in its 2 heats. Barrier 9 in a race like that. I think between one of those two are the way I'm going.
Yep, I like your ideas there. The best drive's probably going to get this one done. Are you entertaining a Kate and Andy Gaff special here? They just go to the top and roll.
No, I think they go to the top and hand up.
Okay.
But who do they hand up to? I'm not quite sure, because if they cross Beach Ball, Better Eclipse is probably the only other likely one that's in the market, that's on the front line. So if it's the first one there, it could find the top. I think Tango Tara be a wee past. Jesus, that New Zealand lingo. A little wee bit past its best, and compared to what it was doing a couple of years ago, and given that he's now a 9-year-old, but speed to the pegs, hand up, get a lovely run over the 2100. Look at 41s and 7s. You could do worse than have a couple of dollars away. But I think he probably just doesn't have the class to finish one of these nice horses off, and one of them's bound to get a good run in Intrepid.
Yeah, Tango Tara. I have a wee bit of a soft spot for it. It's just an honest wee horse, but the one that has my heart in this race, Better Eclipse, obviously, tricky year, tough year for all involved with that stable, and James and Jess to combat, go together and just get this job done on Saturday night at $3.80. I think he's just the best horse in the race, to be honest. If you look through the field, Better Eclipse on top for me in that one.
Yep, fair call.
Race number
420 on Aussie tab.
420, 380 here.
420. Yep, shop
Good.
on Aussie tab 420.
We're highlighting the abnormalities between Tab Aussie and Tab NZ, and I tell you what, we're getting the wrong end of the sticker, us Kiwis, aren't we?
You certainly are. You certainly are.
Race number 4, Group 1 time. And it's over the distance trip. Manhattan Chick off the inside. Cool and classy. Namaka, Gunner Reload. These horses running through an awesome Gold Crown Carnival. And obviously Captain Mistress has been going absolutely great guns. But I'm actually going against her this week at that draw and the price.
Yeah, who are we with?
I'm going to go Manhattan Chick. Barrier 1. I was very, very impressed with its win last start. I was like, who's that? Honestly, I was like, who's that? Who's just absolutely bolting? And then it came out and just absolutely hit the line full of purpose like a good horse. And from Barrier 1, I think it's just going to have every chance possible. I don't think it's actually that much of a scary field. And the each way price is too good to be true there for Manhattan Chick. And obviously Nathan Williamson, he goes all around the place driving and stuff, but he is limited at Albion Park. He doesn't have that many drives there, does he? So he's going to have to be really on his mark to get the job done from for the back row.
Yep, look, I don't disagree with you there, because she's clearly the best horse in the race. I mean, her 154 under an absolute throttle vice-like grip last start in the Rising Sun Consolation. She went a faster time than what they went in the Rising Sun. So she's clearly the best horse. But barrier 11, where, look, I think the speed map's quite clear here. Soho Americano to the top. Manhattan Chick sits in behind. And like you said, what a win last start. I mean, I know it was probably some of the top fillies in this race that are in this race weren't in it last start, but holy dooly, like Sugar Pie Honey is a Group 1 winner, had its own way in front, and this thing just came out and went bang. And, 850 and 220. I like it. And I think Soho Americano in front, cool and classy, putting the pressure on outside of it. It's going to have the run behind the leader. I actually don't mind Ruby Rules at 16 and 270. It's drawn in 8, so it's going to be following Manhattan Chips. And if the pressure's on, I think you're going to find if Cam Hart can navigate or if he has to prior to the sprint lane, Ruby Rules, you go back and even go back as far as watching it in the New South Wales Oaks, it has got a finishing burst. And it had to sit park last start and do all the donkey work. It's not its go. It only got beat a nose to Captain's Mistress back in the Redcliffe Oaks 3 starts ago. So, look, 16s and 270, I like that each way price.
Okay. Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I just think with Manhattan Chick drawing the 1, it's going to have to shuffle that Ruby Rules back a spot, and then it may even get shuffled back even further, and then you could be 4 fence. But yeah, you're right. If you go back and watch when Manhattan Chick won, Ruby Rules was off the track coming as well, and the run's probably just as good. There was a fair few of them absolutely savaging the line, but yeah, what a story there for Manhattan Chick. Where's it come from? Victoria, Alex Ashwood, like a Soho Tribeca, 15 starts, 5 wins, and it just goes like that, fresh up in Albion Park, like an absolute professional little racehorse. I love that.
Yeah, it's obviously the penny has dropped with it clearly, and it's going to give itself every chance. And obviously the ace draw is just a blessing for it. So do no work and might be able to go finish over the top up that lane late.
Okay, so who's your final selection?
Look, I'm going Ruby Rules each way. Trista Dixon, a fantastic drive last week to get fadeaways home in the Rising Sun. Let's see a winner second Group 1 here.
How about we do Ruby Rules top 4, Manhattan Chick top 4? I'm sure that'll pay a little bit.
Yep, I think so. I think
Could be one of your first 4 races, mate.
It is. I think it's going to be a good race. I like seeing when the favourites draw barrier 11 because, Captain's Mistress draws 1 at $1.18. Now we've got a race on our hand and, you can find some value in number 1 and 8. Can't go wrong on the pegs.
It's all up to Nathan Williamson and how he drives her. And look, she could be just too far off them and have to do too much work. Or he could just go around the whole field, get to the top and go, sweet, that was too easy. We'll just never know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Yep. Right, we move on to the Derby. Honestly, what a great race this is, Brendan. I tipped one out on the show a couple of weeks ago, and you'll know the name. Jack's Ultimate Fury.
Ultimate Fury, yes.
I tipped him out to win the Derby.
It has been hammered on Aussie Tab, 850 into 5s. And, mate, I saw this field and I thought of you straight away. I have to be with it. Its run was enormous. And they've been very selective with, it's only had that 1 start in the Rising Sun. It hasn't been racing in the Derby qualifiers or anything. And if we go back to Gold Crown time, we saw it finish over the top of Hesitate in that race.
Just way too good.
Obviously, Hesitate barrier 1. We know it's got the speed to lead. Has the option to maybe sit on a horse like Ribeiro if it wants to, and let all the pressure go, and it just has to run up the lane. It's obviously the danger from the barrier, but at the value. Even fadeaways. Look, fadeaways. If Jack's Ultimate Fury comes with 1 run, he's going to be on its helmet, and at $6.50 and $1.75 for a Rising Sun winner back to its own age. That I think both 9 and 10 are the value plays here for sure.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Although obviously in more of the camp of Jack's Ultimate Fury, shit, I love how tactical they've been. Like a couple of starts at Wagga, and then fresh up in the Rising Sun, and then it just, like, honestly, it was sitting in the 1-1, and I was like, it's going to go whooshka here. Like, you'd put, it was paying $2 to get over the top of them. Obviously, the Janitor, one tough horse to get by, and then Fadeawaits was just, had the dream run. Had the dream run.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but...
Yeah, you swap the runs they had, and without a doubt, Jack's Ultimate Fury gets the job done. So,
yeah, okay.
Well, I have to think, he had to do that, and don't forget, he did some work early to get around the field. Like, he had to earn his 1-1 position. He didn't just land there. So
yeah, great drive from Brad Hewitt. Great drive.
Yeah. I'll be in the camp of Jack's Ultimate Fury as well. So we're doubling down on it.
Yeah, double down. Get all of the coin we make off Major Hot and chuck it on. Double it. Just keep rolling it through the night. We move on to race number 6. I Keep Smiling. Can they beat her? I don't think so.
No, she's an incredible mare. She's every owner's dream, mate. Jackie Gibson obviously been breeding. I think Success Stud 57 years this year, and she's been breeding horses for a long time, and she's got herself an absolute superstar. Definitely don't need me to say that to rectify her position as a champion mare. And look, Steno's chance was to draw inside of it probably and keep it parked or have the cold sit on it. The fact that Steno's drawn outside and unfortunately the late scratching with the passing of Chinchilla probably hurt Steno even that bit more because Chinchilla had the gate speed. Now that she's out of the race, look, Tay might be able to hold, but I Keep Smiling has all the aces here, and I think she'll be just too good.
Yeah, and you'd be silly to park I Keep Smiling and drill. She'll just drill you, and then you'll go on top of the straight, and she'll keep kicking and win. So you're better to just sort of take your sit and then play Tay that top 3, top 2, run it through your multis, and that run last week was pretty bloody good. I thought for Tay, especially from the draw upgrade. I don't see how it doesn't run top 3 tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'll go out as far and say that. Steno's been a magic mare, and she deserves to be 550. But if you're looking to play some value, I'll go straight out here. First 4, 2 to win, 1 to run second, and I'll put the 8 in for third or fourth, and hope that maybe Steno gets caught in the chair, and you might find. Look, I don't think it will drop out. I think it'll finish in top 4. But if you look to try and get value, Luxa Turner. Was in the running line at the start against Captain's Mistress, and I thought did a nice job to only get beat 8 metres in 54. Went 150 on the peg line at Menangle, leading throughout the prior start. I'll definitely be including it in my top 4s and first 4s. So I'll be going peg dominated race with I Keep Smiling at $1.20.
A horse that could have run a top 3, top 4 in this race. A very interesting horse, Cheerleader. She's such a weird little mare. I know that sounds a wee bit harsh, but she just sort of pops up, and you're often seeing her absolutely slashing home from back in the field. So if she'd drawn better, I really thought she could have run a top 3 or 4, but from barrier 6, again, probably out of it. And then probably the only other horse that on paper can run pretty good on its day, Pandia, but that run last week, wasn't keen.
It definitely needs to find the top and hand up to the better horses. 10 over a mile at Albion is going to make it very hard for her.
All right, race 7, we're into it. The Inter-Dominion for the Trotters, 3,157 metres, and RC Phoenix has got the pole position. However, the main dangers are drawn beautifully. You want to be, if you've got gate speed, you want to be drawn in that centre of the line off on the front row. And Parisian Artiste and Bedouin have just done that. And there's a bit of confidence in the market here for Bet and Win to just go straight to the top and go bang. Not for me though.
We know you're firmly in the camp of RC Phoenix here. And look, you couldn't ask for a better barrier draw. And look, whether it leads or whether it hands up to the right horse, I suppose the only danger if they hand up is, is there a double cross?
Definitely.
If it throw up 3 pegs, that's the danger, right?
Don't hand up.
Don't hand up. keep destiny in your own hands, and if it's the best horse, then it'll get the job done. I think the advantage for RC Phoenix is, say if Parisian Artiste or Better Win drew barrier 8 and had its helmet, then they're a real danger because they're both very zippy horses. But with Constantinople on its back, I think it'll, Chris Spinozio would probably want to hold the lead. Yeah, I'll get there eventually. I'll get there. Probably holds the lead knowing that, Constantinople probably isn't really a major threat to it. Keeps all its dangers in the running line and all doing work. And given that London Tilbrook, Oscar Bonavito and Gus have drawn 11, 12 and 13, they have to make their move at some point. If they sit there back last, they're not going to run down any of those three horses we spoke about on the front line. So
no, you're right.
Look, probably not value that I wanted at 240 for RC Phoenix, but I'm in his camp.
Yeah, you couldn't take the 230 if you're being a smart punter from the pole with the threats out wide and how much gate speed they do possess. There is a chance he does get crossed. So you wouldn't want to take the $2.30. But futures punters are happy. They're happy. And actually, Brendan, I'm going to run something by you here. You might go, what is this guy on about here? But I want you to go back and look at Love Gun. I'm going to put a clip over the top here, but Love Gun's run last start was absolutely awesome. It's a very interesting trotter, and he's, you know, obviously the form's like, okay, this looks pretty average, but here's where I think the value comes into it. RC Phoenix drawn barrier 1, the favourite of this whole bloody series. He's favourite to win. He's going to come off the gate at least half-assed or better, right? He's not going to walk off the gate, is he? You agree?
No, yeah, I do agree with
Okay.
that. He's definitely going to come out with purpose.
Okay, so then you have to go through the form and you go to Constantinople and you go and look at every single start of Constantinople's career and you'll see there's only one start and it's drawn inside the back row at Albion and it was pretty ugly off the inside and didn't look like it really enjoyed being down in that space. So I actually think if Love Gun ran the gate half-assed or a little bit slower, just enough to cross in front of Constantinople, who I'm predicting, and this is why it's a big call, will not hold the back of RC Phoenix early, allowing space for Love Gun to drop down to the fence and be a serious top 3, top 4 contender. How about that? How about them apples, Brendan?
Look, I totally agree. I actually don't even think it needs to run the gate. I actually think RC Phoenix has to run the gate to some extent, and I think I agree. The gap's there, and at $81
and $9.50,
you could do. Yeah, you could do a lot worse than throw 5 tray on it.
Yeah, nice.
Agreed.
Okay.
I very much agree on that. Good call.
And then race 8. What dreams are made of? The Inter-Dominion at Albion Park. It's Larry's track. It's Larry's race, and he's drawn pole. And I've even got Larry's hat on. So is that it? That must be an omen.
You do good. A true harness racing fan,
mate. There is something special watching that horse just bolt around the track, and he just looks like he's just playing with them every single start, and it's actually scary. It's like, where is the end? Where does this horse actually get tired? Because I just don't think it happens.
No, and that's the 3100 just plays right into his hands, right? Because when he runs a mile in 148, he runs 2100 in 149, he runs 3100 in 150, whereas the others drop off significantly, right? His engine is just out of this world, and he must have one of the best constitutions of a racehorse that I've seen for a long time, and he makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. There's no two ways about it. As I said, the first 200 metres is the critical part. So long as Grant Dixon, if he can't hold, can get him off the pegs, then there's no stopping him.
I actually reckon everyone's being a little bit, I'm going to say, a wee bit pessimistic. This is Leap to Fame we're talking about. He's a good horse. Good horses get off the gate when they need to. I reckon he's gonna do his best, and if not, I reckon park everyone. I don't care. He's just gonna go straight at the top, stay there, and run him along. In my book.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it before. earlier in the program that 31:57 starts the same as the 21:38, right? So that front straight start is
Correct.
definitely a lot easier for them to hold from barrier one than the back straight. But Sia Art and Pete said so and Catch a Wave, mate, they have terrific gate speed. But where that helps him is if those 3 or 4 horses do fly the gate early, it will create gaps. And Grant Dixon's a genius at getting off the pegs. And even if he does get crossed, I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. He's just got leaps and bounds on him, no pun intended.
See what you did there. Yeah, the key is though, like, do these horses? What's the point of burning any petrol off the arm when you've got Leap to Fame inside you? Your horse is already going to be gasping for air. There's no point going at the start and trying to go again at the end. Everyone should just fan back, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
You are a Larry fan, aren't you? Look, the only chance horses like Catch a Wave, see Pete's head, so they're not going to go back and fish over the top because we know how fast how fast Larry runs for over a distance. So you have to be on the pegs. So I think their only chance is to get to the pegs in the first couple of hundred. I mean, if they burn for 200 and then do no work throughout, they might be able to run a place in a Dominion final, which, you know, who wouldn't want to do that? That'd be an absolutely massive feather in their cap for those horses to run top three in inters, and that's the only way they're going to do it.
Yeah, agree. You know who the weirdest horses in this race is for me?
Do tell.
Captain's Knock. It is just the weirdest horse ever. You just can't ever back it. It's always too short. And then tomorrow night, don't know why I think it's on tonight. I'm getting excited. Captain's Knock drawn inside the back row behind Larry. It's a very weird horse. It's very speedy on its day, and it's been doing a lot of work. So it might not know itself being buried on the fence, and potentially lead us back the trip.
Yeah, look, I think it's an absolute blessing over the 3,100 for a horse like that. When Larry's in the race, the way this race is going to pan out to be on the pegs, save as much energy as possible. And as we've seen in the heats, when Larry runs it on 400 metres from home, 800 metres from home, field opens up and the gaps are big. And even if Larry is crossed and Captain's Knock might be 3 or 4 pegs, Brad Hewitt knows how to manoeuvre a horse, and I think he's a real good top three play. 26s and 270. Look, I probably wouldn't touch the 26s. I won't touch any other horse to win, really. But the 270, I think, or played in the first 4 or same race multi with Larry to win. I think you could start to create something there.
Awesome. Well, there's a couple of other races left at the creek, but we won't be getting into them as no one will care about them after we've just watched Larry destroy them in the Inter-Dominion final. How about we go down to Menangle, and have you found anything for us on that card on the same night, the support act?
Look, yeah, there's a couple of plays there that I don't mind. I don't mind. There's a horse that's been a little bit hard to catch. His name is Jillaby Fabio, and I remember when you were still back here in Australia, we watched him go banging first start for Chris Judd at Menangle. Lost his way a little bit, but also was racing on the Saturday nights and has recaptured some form. And
Aggressive
I think
driver book.
we put a line through last start. Um, I don't mind it. I think it might be some value there at probably around 5s or 6s.
Okay.
I don't mind it, so it's one that I'll go for. And staying in the same camp, the following race for Veet Monet. I think Chris Judd and Pete McRae can go a race-to-race double, and I'm probably a little more confident on Veet Monet, but I think the price will be just a touch less with it, a little shorter. But yeah, they're the two that I like at Menangle. Outside of them, I don't think it's a card. I think it's a card that we definitely potentially play. The Bears, the Stylish Memphis Stakes, an absolute cracker. I really like this race, and I think there's going to be some fireworks early. I think it's quite open. I do, and I think any of those horses can win it. But yeah, the two that I mentioned are the two that I'm going with: Chris Judd, Pete McRae, race to race double, race 3, race 4.
Okay, that's it. Beautiful. Thanks for joining
Thanks.
us on the show this week, Brendan. We had a good chat. We dissected the biggest night of harness racing this year, and hopefully we can find a winner or two and fill up the pockets of any punters who follow us in or just here to have a listen to a good old chin wag.
Yep, no, that sounds great, mate. I hope everyone enjoys the Inner Dominion tomorrow night. It's going to be an absolute ripper of a race, and you know who doesn't enjoy seeing Larry? As I said, he's one of those one in a generation horses that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up when you watch him. And of course, happy punting. Hopefully, we steer the punters into a winner or two.
Thanks, Brendan. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, mate. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Brendan Micallef, CEO of Bathurst Harness Racing Club and BPM Bloodstock extraordinaire, we'll have to say. Albion Park tomorrow night, just to go over the plays. I don't know if I'm going to get it up in time. It might be tonight's plays. Race number 2, number 1, Major Hot, $4.20, $1.60. Race 4, number 1, Manhattan Chick, $9.50 and $2.40. In the Derby, race 5, number 9, Jack's Ultimate Fury at $5.50 a win. Race 6, number 1, Tay Tay to top 2 or top 3, depending on how risky you want to do that. And then the Dominion, we're going to do RC Phoenix to win, with Love Gun to run a top 4. And in the paces, you've got to have Larry on top. So hopefully we can tip you into a few winners tonight or tomorrow night, depending on when this is uploaded. And obviously, Leap to Fame is one of the best horses you will ever see. So I hope you sit back on your couch, or if you're at a pub or you're on course, and admire a absolute equine athlete do absolutely awesome stuff. So thanks everyone for tuning in to this week's show, and we'll see you next time for the Profit Paddock.